Hello. Democracy is a cornerstone of the modern global religion of liberalism. It is our highest value, our most cherished institution. Our elite ceaselessly promote it at home and abroad. Our politicians swear by it, and all branches of the information world swears unquestioned fealty to it. The question is why? What is so sacred about a system of governance? Is it really because democracy is the best form of government, or do the elite have an ulterior motive? If the elites heavily promote something, that alone warrants suspicion on the issue, and the institution of democracy should be no different. I believe that the plutocratic class that controls nearly all nations worldwide promote it for an ulterior motive. They like democracy because democracy is dictatorship of the merchant class. The vast majority in any population are not the intellectual types who thinks things through. Humans, like all other animals, have hierarchies. Some think, most act. If everyone in a society was an enlightened thinker, then no one would be left to till the fields. Thus, in any society, the majority of the people are essentially sheep who follow the dominant culture and narrative. The Enlightenment ideal of the learned citizenry has not come to pass, despite centuries of public education. Most people don't even have an internal monologue, and two-thirds of people in the world's greatest democracy can't even name three branches of government. Like the pack of hyenas, where most hyenas take their marching orders from their elders, most people in any population will take their leads from their elites. In democracies, the opinion of the public is shaped by media and entertainment. What people think, their beliefs, their opinions are mostly shared by the media and entertainment industry. Even Plato acknowledged that this all the way back in ancient Greece, and these institutions are invariably controlled by the rich who use it to shape opinion to their own ends. The media controls what you see, what information is available to the public. The controlled media will more often than not create an alternative reality where the narrative of the elites hold true. A classic example of this would be the Iraq War, where CNN, the New York Times, and all the other controlled media gave wall-to-wall coverage to the patently false claim that Iraq had WMDs. Only neocons and neoliberals who were in favor of their agenda were given a voice, while dissident voices were not allowed a platform. And in this way, the American population was tricked into a war that cost them $4 trillion and over 10,000 lives. The entertainment industry is another insidious tool of the elite as it shapes culture and people's beliefs. A classic example of this would be the gay propaganda show Modern Family, which depicted gay couples as ideal, healthy people who shined as model parents. This helped greatly as Vice President Joe Biden boasted later that Hollywood made gay marriage possible by shifting public opinion and making anti-gay marriage opinions verboten. Thus, in these ways, the people are led by the noses by the plutocratic elites. Every European nation wants less migration from Africa and the Middle East, yet every European nation gets more of it every year, as the plutocrats demand cheaper labor, more debt slaves, and more consumers. It doesn't matter who you vote for. Once in power, they always serve the agenda of their wealthy funders. The most insidious part of democracy is that it gives people the illusion of freedom. This is what makes it more effective than Soviet-style repression. They think that they're in charge, and to go about carefree in their lives, thinking that voting in some new liar will change the system. It keeps them dangerously complacent and unwilling to revolt, thus allowing the plutocrats to further dispossess them. It channels the natural rebellious and revolutionary tendencies of the population towards the false hope of elections, elections where both major parties are controlled by the same Rockefeller-Rothschild elites. Furthermore, a democratic system makes the problem near insolvable, and the plutocratic grip on society near intractable. For in democracies, power is diffused throughout the various institutions of government, like the bureaucracy, the courts, the intelligence agencies, the media, and the entertainment complex. No one patriot or even group of patriots, if they were to get elected into office, would be able to change the system. The courts would block his laws and reforms, the intelligence agencies would sabotage his administration, the bureaucrats would simply refuse to carry out his agenda, and the media would give wall-to-wall negative coverage of his governance. Ultimately, this unelected and unchangeable power structure would simply have to wait out the candidate's term. Presidents change, but the deep state is permanent. And in this modern world, unfortunately, it's very hard for such candidates to get elected in the first place. The media would deny candidate coverage to any candidate the plutocrats deemed unworthy, as was patently obvious during the Ron Paul campaign of the 2012 election, where the media consistently denied him coverage in the Republican primaries because he advocated an abolition of the Federal Reserve, the instrument through which the merchant class enslaves the population through debt. Furthermore, the intelligence agencies would simply sabotage such a campaign, and worse, to conduct elections you need copious amounts of money, money that comes from the plutocrats themselves. If you don't believe me, just look at the 2018 midterms and the list of the top donors. You'd wonder for a second if this was an election in America or Tel Aviv. Why would government servants of the deep state serve the plutocrats, you might ask? It's because the plutocrats can buy their loyalty with outright money and lucrative corporate positions after retirement. Bill Gates will always be able to outbid Uncle Sam. Just look at ex-Pentagon officials. They just happen to land lucrative jobs as counselors in Boeing and Raytheon after retirement. I'm sure it has nothing to do with them giving contracts to these corporations while in office. I'm sure it's all about their wise, invaluable counsel. In days past, a king could simply overthrow the merchant class with a single edict of expulsion, bypassing the courts and all the bureaucratic tapeworms. A dictator can simply throw them in jail and nationalize their property like Putin did with Kordovsky and the quote-unquote Russian oligarchs. But in a democracy, it's near impossible to overthrow them due to the trials of due process and term limits. It's not a coincidence that the plutocratic republics of the Renaissance, like Milan, Genoa, and Venice, were all democratic. Thanks for watching. See you next time.